What is up, MMA community? I just want to let you guys know that this podcast may have some graphic language that may not be suitable for all audiences. The listener discretion is advised. Welcome to another episode of the BP Mean Gene MMA show. I'm BP, and joining me, as always, Mean Gene. What's up, Gene?
What's going on, Brian?
So, as always, as we always promise, let's just jump right into recap last card. It was Poirier versus Hooker. I came in up 3/4 of a unit. After my bets, not the best night for me. I was 2-8 for picks that card, brings me to a total of 9-13. I was down 3 units on the card, which brought me to a total of down 2.25 units. For you, you were 6-4 on the card, bringing you to a total of 11-11 on your picks, and then you were up 2 units on the card, bringing you to down 3 units total as you came into last card down 5 units. So
Yeah, happy about that. Down 5 units on the first pod that we actually make official bets, and then come back with winning 2 or going 2-0 in the last card. So I'm happy about that. Hopefully, it's a nice little trend that we continue on here.
trying to earn the Mean Gene, the betting machine title back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't let that first week fool you.
As soon as you get in the green, I'll start calling you the betting machine again.
Well, hopefully after this week's card, I'll be in the green. So
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. So you want to jump into what? What do you want to get into? You just want to get into picks?
Let's just do the card real quick, and I'm just going to let everyone know the early prelims. I have time. I don't have that much time, so I did some analysis of the prelims and the main card. Early prelims, I looked at their records. I'm just going to be completely honest. I didn't watch their fights, so if you're going to jump off the bridge with me, jump off the bridge with me in the prelims and the main card. Don't jump off the bridge with me in the early prelims. And I think that's the same for you as well, Gene, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Same thing. Didn't do too much studying on the early prelims.
Perfect. So we're going with, for me, I have Martin Day over Davey Grant. Who'd you pick in that fight, Gene?
I got Davey Grant in that one. I just think the veteran pulls it out over the relatively newcomer.
Okay. Definitely. Then I had Caro Rosa over Vanessa Mello. I think that's how you say her name. Who'd you get in that fight, Gene?
Same thing. I got Rosa.
Okay. And then Raulian Paiva I have over Zalga Zumagulov. Who do you got in that fight, Gene?
Same thing. Yep.
Same thing.
Same pick.
Okay, this one I did have a little bit of something to say. I have Marcin Tybura over Alexander Romanov, mainly over just his experience. He has some good wins. His last win was over Sergey Spivak. And I truly think he's just way more experienced over Alexander, even though he's the underdog in this fight. I think he's got the win. How about you, Gene?
Same thing. Tybura for sure. Definitely has experience in the UFC. Has fought some legit contenders. Fabricio Werdum being one, Derek Lewis being another. Coming off a win, and the other thing too is his opponent is coming in on 1 week notice as well. Yeah, so I'm going Tybura, even though he is the underdog, the slight underdog. Let's be honest, it's almost a pick.
Yeah, it's pretty
at -120 versus -110, but I got Tybura.
Yeah, and we should go over the. If you let, I'm just gonna.
I'll do the lines real quick. I can make it super quick. So on that first one, Day and Grant. Day is a big favorite at -185. Grant is at +150. Next fight, and so you had Day, I have Grant in that one.
Yeah.
The next one is Rosa versus Mello. Rosa is a big favorite at minus 240, and Mello is plus 190 comeback. Next one, Paiva minus 170 versus Zumagulov, which is plus 140. And then the one we just finished up was Grishin is a slight favorite, minus 120,
Exactly.
and yeah, Tibura is minus 110 comeback.
Oh, that I knew I had that. Okay, on my notes, I knew that name didn't seem familiar. It's Grishin, not Romanov. I said Romanov.
Mm.
That's who was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
I was canceled. Okay. Either way, I still got Marson.
Yeah, top of that shit. Come on, man.
Right. When I studied this, I did see Grishin. Romanov. That's the last Russian. Okay. This starts the prelims now. I actually do have legit analysis, so we're gonna slow it down a little bit. It's not gonna be shotgun. Um,
So, so I'll just tell you the lines real quick. So you got Santos at minus 175, and you got Bogatov comeback plus 145.
Okay, so and I know we disagree with it or disagree on this, but I don't think we really disagree um, with the analysis. I think we disagree with the outcome. Um, so Santos has only fought once since 2016. That was in June of 2019. He's a vet. He's 40 years old, which that does concern me a little bit. He's 40 years old and has fought once since 2016. So he's super inactive, and I think that'll hurt him, especially at his age. He does have a KO win over Kevin Lee. I thought that was noteworthy. Um, this is my main thing. He has great jiu-jitsu, but the fight's going to end up on the ground. And Bogatov is a Khabib-style wrestler. He's not the best on the feet, and he's nowhere near Khabib, obviously, in terms of accolades and in terms of ability. But he's that style of a fighter. He just gets on top of you, mauls you, something like we just saw with why can't I think of his name now? Over Volkov.
Oh, you're talking about Blades? Curtis Blades?
Man, lost my train of thought. Oh, yes, Curtis Blade, that type of fighter. So he just kind of mauls people. And I know the main thing everyone's going to be like, oh, but, how do you beat a wrestler? Is it jiu-jitsu? There's certain things, though, that you can just shut down jiu-jitsu offense if you're kind of that Khabib-style wrestler where you just maul people. Like, yes, he can get offense off, like the Anderson Silva over Chael Sonnen crazy triangle. You can always get those, but it's just I feel like there's something to be said about a specific style of guard and a specific style of ground and pound that you can do as a powerful wrestler to just kind of shut down the offense, the jiu-jitsu offense of your opponent, even if they're very good at jiu-jitsu. So ultimately, I got Bogasov as the underdog in this fight, even though I know Leonardo is a very dangerous. And I think last thing I'll say, because I know I'm kind of rambling on, Santos is definitely the more dangerous fighter, and he has more ways to win than Bogatov does. I just personally feel like the fight's going to go with Bogatov dominating and getting a decisive victory over him. Who do you got, G?
Yeah, so I got Santos. What you had said, Bogatov, I feel like the only way he is going to win is if he just smothers Santos, which I don't even with smothering him, it might leave him open for a choke. Santos is good on the ground, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu tactician, but where I really think he's going to shine is on his feet. He's recently, I know his last fight was 2019, so saying recently might not be the best word to use, but he seems to have developed his power. He has legit power on the feet, and like you said, I mean, I feel like the resume alone, he's undefeated in the octagon. He's won 5 straight, beating the likes of Kevin Lee, and the only thing really is if he's rusty. He hasn't fought since 2019.
Yep.
I think before that was like 2016 was the last time he fought before then.
Yep.
So maybe rust catches up to him, or like you said, his opponent just smothers him, which I don't see that happening. Even with the smothering, like I said, I feel like Santos can lock in a submission. So I'm going with Santos. to beat Bogotov.
Okay, definitely. So the next fight we have Makwan Amirkhani versus Danny Henry. Makwan, if you want to go over the lines real quick.
Yep. Lines on that one is uh, Americani is minus 200, and you got the comeback on Danny Henry at plus 160.
All right, so for this fight, I have I'll just go. I have Danny Henry. It's a tale of two outcomes, really. Obviously, every fight is, but this one is too specific.
Danny Henry?
Yeah, I'm taking Danny Henry. So Danny Henry survive if he survives the early wrestling onslaught of Amir Khani, he's gonna win. Amir Khani gasses, um, and uh, and Danny Henry has some super good upset victories over. I have to. I know I need to have these things written down. He had three in a row. I think he lost one to Shane Burgos, if I remember correctly. That's where I got to pull up that Tapology.
Tapology real quick. So
Yeah.
you're not sounding like a dumbass.
Everyone's like, they're not in the same fucking weight division. What are you talking about? It's probably what's going to happen. No, it is, by the way. I was right. If I'm right, you owe me. You're going to pay for my plane ticket to Las Vegas.
I think I'm already doing that, buddy.
Good thing I was right. I'm just kidding. I'm not. It wasn't. It was Dan Ige. That's what it was. Okay. Yeah. So he had he had an upset victory over Daniel Tamer, and then an upset victory over Hakeem Duwadu, with only 39 seconds into the first round with a guillotine choke.
Those are good wins.
Yeah, and then he lost to Dan Ige, and we noticed also in the Hakeem Duwadu or the Daniel Tamer fight that when he gets rushed early, it's dangerous for him. And Makwan Amirkhani has that danger where he's a good wrestler and he'll come at him and he'll rush him. So as long as Danny Henry is able to survive that early onslaught, I think he'll definitely eke out that victory in the long run for sure. Whether it's by decision or he catches a choke or whatever he'll end up doing. But Amir Khani, I guess that's my point is Amir Khani can definitely win, but if he wins, it's early. If he doesn't win, he's going to gas, which we saw in his last fight. And that's my pick. Who do you have in that fight?
Yeah, I think the line should be a little bit closer on that for the reasons that you listed. Henry's got some good wins, as you already pointed out, and he is still a dangerous fighter, definitely with the striking. But I got Americani. I think the wrestling's going to get it done. I think he's going to pressure him, and he even looks good on the feet. To be honest with you, as well. I mean, he's got good striking, Americani, but he's known for his wrestling. Ultimately, I think he's just going to swarm him, not Khabib him per se, where he's just smothering him and kind of laying on him. But I think he's going to go for a submission, and I actually think that's how he gets the victory is with some type of choke, rear naked choke is what I think is going to happen. But
yeah, it was him by the way who lost to Shane Burgos. It was
What'd you say?
Amir Khani. It was his fight. He lost to Shane Burgos.
Yeah, which is not a bad loss. We just saw him versus Emmett. He beat Emmett. I know the judges said differently, but he beat Emmett in that fight. But yeah, I got Americani in that fight. But I would not be surprised if Henry pulls the upset. And I do think the line should be a little bit shorter, just a little bit. Maybe like a minus 160 type of line, not minus 200. But yeah, I got Americani, short and sweet.
Yeah, that's my little sleeper pick. So I really think Danny Henry just has a better resume in general. We'll talk more about resumes later when we get to the main event. But the next fight is Elizu. I'm going to butcher this name, just letting everyone know. Elizu Zaleski dos Santos.
Mm-hmm.
Muslim Salikov.
Go ahead.
Versus Muslim Salikov. You want to give the lines on those real quick?
Yeah, Salikov is minus 135, and you got Dos Santos at plus 105.
Okay, so for this one, I have Muslim. Dos Santos doesn't do well against composed strikers. So Dos Santos is a phenomenal capoeira guy. He has those spinning kicks and shit. And he's also good. He can get the fight on the ground. But Muslim is just he's a great kickboxer, and Muslim also has some really good spinning attacks as well. So I have Salikov mainly for the fact that he's composed. I don't think the fight really goes to the ground that much. If it does, I think he'll get up. And like I said, he's just a composed striker. He'll outbox him and piece him up and get a finish. I think he'll get a finish in the later rounds over Dos Santos in this fight.
All right, so for me, first, I'll start off by saying this potentially could be fight of the night. Crazy to say, obviously, with the main card in your 3 title fights. Obviously, if you're a betting man, one of those 3 are probably going to end up being fight of the night. But besides that main card, this is the fight right here, being potentially fight of the night. You got 2 beautiful strikers. Salikov is a kickboxer, throws ridiculous kicks. A lot of his knockouts are via head kicks. He loves doing spinning heel kicks, spinning kicks to the body. He nasty kicks to the leg to keep you at distance. Same thing with Dos Santos. Capoeira started at 9 years old. I believe he went pro at 20 years old, MMA, and so he's seasoned. And he also is a spectacular striker as well. Loves to throw kicks, spinning kicks. A good striker, puncher, boxer, I should say. And I expect fireworks in this fight, man. I really do. I would not be surprised. This is the dark horse for fight of the night. Both these guys are. What'd you say?
I like that call.
And both these guys are great strikers. I'm going with Salikov because Salikov, I just feel like, is the better striker. And stronger striker too. In two ways. One, he's just physically bigger than Dos Santos. So I feel like if there is any type of grappling situations, Salikov is going to be able to hold Dos Santos off, which I don't see. I don't see any reason why these guys are going to get into a grappling match.
Sorry about that, guys. My computer died because I'm an idiot, didn't have it plugged in. But so there's a little bit of a weird break there. But you finish what you're saying about the last fight.
Yeah, so Salikov, again, I have him winning that fight. And the last thing I was saying before, this amateur hour happened where your fucking computer died. This fucking guy. Salikov, he likes to move forward. He likes to take the center of the octagon of the cage, whatever, of the mat, of the ring.
You don't know. You call me amateur hour. You're telling me I'm amateur hour and the cage, the mat.
You got me all fucked up, man. I was on a little rant. Now I'm trying to figure out where the hell I was at. Anyways, Salikov likes to take the center of the octagon, and I think that's gonna help him in the eyes of the judges. I don't see Dos Santos pushing him back, and another thing I was saying in there too, I probably already said it, but just make sure I reiterate this: is Salikov is the bigger fighter, stronger fighter, and I think that's gonna help him if they ever get into a grappling situation, which I don't see. Dos Santos would be the guy that would try to take down Salikov, not the other way around. So I think that will help him. But yeah, I got Salikov, man. I'm super impressed by the guy. Former kickboxer, just a vast array of strikes. He likes to throw, in particular, like I said, those spinning kicks. And he's deadly, man. He's fast, aggressive, continues to move forward. So, like I said already, but I'll say it again, because I don't know what was cut out and what's going to be kept from the previous video, is just I feel like this could potentially be fight of the night, legitimately.
Yeah, that'll say. And I was just about to say, I think that's your little sleeper pick, even though it's not going to like monetarily help, but I think that's a good call. Is that it could be the fight of the night? That is kind of like, I mean, it definitely has all the makings to be that. So yeah, the next fight we have Volkan Oezdemir versus Yuri. I think is how you pronounce his name, Yuri Prochaska. So Yuri, this is a big debut for Yuri. He's known as he's seen as one of the best light heavyweights in the world. He's coming out of Ryzen. Personally, honestly, I think Volkan Oezdemir wins this one. He's just he's a tough fighter. Um, in my opinion, he beat Dominic Reyes when they fought. Took out Ilir Latifi since then, and then he took out Rakic. He gave Rakic his first career loss in the octagon. Um, and I just feel like Yuri is good. I just don't think he's at that level. I mean, one of his biggest win, in my opinion, is over King Mo last year and last April. And I mean, I love King Mo to death. I love King Mo, but I don't think he's the type of fighter he used to be. Then he fought CB Dalloway. And CB Dalloway is kind of a washed up UFC fighter, so I just don't think he has the he really has fought the people who ultimately I just don't think that him fighting Volkan Oezdemir is the right move right now. I think Volkan is a little bit too up there for him. I would have started him with someone smaller,
Okay.
someone
Yeah.
lower in the rankings, not smaller.
So real quick, the lines on that: Ozdemir minus 160.
Yeah,
Prochaska is plus 130. I'm right with you. I got Ozdemir as well. I think Ozdemir, like you said, he beat Dom Reyes. I think his resume speaks for itself. He's fought tougher fighters. There's a common theme on this. If you don't notice, you know, the UFC's pulling guys from Rise and PFL
yeah,
for this card. You've had a lot of fighters fall out due to COVID. PFL is not in season right now due to COVID. They should be in season right now, but they're not. And they're pulling a lot of fighters from that organization and just organizations across the world, across the world. A lot of, UFC is the only one that's put on fights pretty much. I know LFA maybe too
yeah. I
has put
love
on
it.
Invicta. I know Invicta as well. Man, I got Uzdemir, man. I think he's the stronger, heavier puncher. I think Prochaska is legit. He's won like 15 of his last 16 or something. I can look on here to find it, but I just like Ozdemir, man. I think he's the best, more seasoned fighter. I think he's the more talented fighter. I think this is gonna be a statement win for him. I think he's going to cement himself in the light heavyweight division, especially right now. You're seeing, and we'll get to this later. We'll definitely talk about Glover Teixeira and Thiago Santos. That
Yeah,
booking, we both love that booking. We can get into conversation as to why we do, but I think Ozdemir is that dark horse of the division, and I think he realizes this is his chance to really cement himself in the light heavyweight division after a couple slip ups. That Dominic Reyes slip up, and I do want to find that other one though, real quick. Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2
we
seconds.
lost to.
I know this isn't good for. But I just want to pull up that last one they had was here it is. Yeah, so you already say he beat Rakic and he beat Latifi, so he's got 2 in a row. But yeah, he lost. He lost to DC, Anthony Smith, and Dom Reyes 3 in a row, and then after that, he won the 2 in a row. He's on a nice little run. I feel like he's going to cement himself. Like, hey guys, don't forget about me in this division, and against a newcomer in Prochaska. So long story short, I got Uzdemir is who I got.
Okay, yeah, definitely. The next we're going to the main card. So this fight I think is the least we need to talk about.
Main card, baby.
What'd you say?
I said main card, baby.
It's going to be interesting. We have Amanda Ribas versus Paige Van Zandt. I think personally for sure it's Paige Van Zandt's last fight in the UFC, win or lose. I don't think she wins, so I should just say lose. But Amanda Ribas is going to I think is just a better fighter, but there is something to be looked at with Paige Van Zandt's win over Mackenzie Durham. It's the only fight where I'm like, okay, maybe she has a chance. And I'll be honest, I would be okay. I actually think it would be kind of cool to see Paige Van Zandt win, especially going into free agency. I think it would help her value a little bit. But I don't think she does. There's a reason Amanda Ribas is minus 900, by far the largest favorite on the card. And I just don't think she's as good of a fighter as I don't think Paige Van Zandt is as good of a fighter as Ribas is. And Ribas is on the up and up. So
yeah, real quick, just to make this for sure, because I think you looked at the wrong one. So Ribas beat Mackenzie Dern. Paige Van Zandt has not fought Mackenzie Dern.
oh shit.
Come on.
And another
Computer computer dies. Now you're talking about
I'm,
Mackenzie.
yeah, I'm on a fucking roll of amateurism today.
It's all good.
Yeah, no. All right. Like I said, Paige Van
And
Zandt.
then, and then Mean Gene take over.
Yeah,
Uh,
on that note, fuck.
and then no, all of a sudden your computer dies again.
Oh, shit.
uh,
Cut.
uh, yeah, right. Take two. I'll just jump in real quick. I mean, you pretty much said it. It doesn't matter about the Mackenzie Dern. I mean, your point's well taken.
Yeah, so
Um,
that just takes away my only chance of Van Zandt winning. So that's all my caveat was if she had beaten her, maybe.
but Van Zandt, I mean, because I'm looking at it right now. Van Zandt has lost to the better fighters. She lost to Tisha Torres. Granted, that was in Invicta. Yeah, she beat Felice Herring. But other than that, and Beck Rawlings, solid fighters. Ostovich is just not good. I mean, it's all about the looks when it comes to Ostovich. And honestly, to a degree with Paige Van Zandt, I wouldn't put her on the same level as Ostovich. I think she's much more talented for sure, but she just hasn't lived up to the hype. She came in with a pretty face, and a pretty good fighter, but she just hasn't lived up to it. And I think, and we can get into this later too, because I do want to bring up how she was talking about, she's underpaid and stuff.
Yeah.
I just, we'll wait. I'll get into it. But anyways,
I
she
think
lost.
we saved for the reaction show.
Yeah, we'll wait. But yeah, she lost to Rose. She lost to Michelle Waterson. She's losing to the Tisha Torres. Like I said, she's losing to the better fighters. But anyways, I got Amanda Ribas. I believe like 2 or 3 episodes ago, I spoke about Amanda Ribas.
Yeah.
She's a dark horse at 125, man.
Yeah.
I'm super impressed by her. Impressed by everything, the whole package. And the UFC, the matchmakers this is perfect. This is exactly what you want from your matchmakers. You have Amanda Ribas on 9-1. And I want to pull up her. Give me 2 seconds. So she's won 4. She's won 4 in a row. 4 in a row. She's 9-1. But this is what you want. You have Paige Van Zandt. You have the name around her, Dancing with the Stars. Sports Illustrated, all that type of shit. She's on her way out. They're not going to re-sign her. And you have Amanda Ribas coming up. Who's a legit fighter, legit dangerous, amazing striker, man. Amazing striker. Good Brazilian jiu-jitsu tactician as well. Decent looking. Speaks English as well. Charisma, outgoing. This is the perfect match. Perfect match for her, and perfect matchmaking by the UFC. They have this hot. And I mean hot in the sense of talent-wise, prospect, quote-unquote, coming up in a division that's you're looking for prospects. 125 at Shevchenko's division, man, you're not getting a lot of contenders in that division. And Amanda Ribas, you bring her up there, you put her on the main card to open up the main card against a no-name in Paige Van Zandt. I love it, man. It's like, it's beautiful matchmaking by the UFC. And I expect her to show out, Amanda Ribas. Now, don't get me wrong. And I need to bring this up real quick with the odds. You have Amanda Ribas at -900, and you have Paige Van Zandt at +550. Insane. I don't care who you are. I tweeted this out earlier in the week. The only people I'm betting on when the odds are -300 or more is Nunes or Shevchenko, and maybe Cyborg. But that's it. Amanda Ribas at -900 is crazy to me. She should win. I expect her to win. I expect her to dominate. But Paige Van Zandt is so dangerous. She's seasoned. Yeah. I already listed the fighters that she's fought. Granted, she's lost to them, but she's seasoned, man. And I feel like she could easily pull some out of her bag of tricks and beat Ribas here. And so I'm not touching that with the 10-foot pole at -900, and I wouldn't even touch Paige Van Zandt either at +550. I'm not. Telling anyone to take Van Zandt, but I just thought those odds were crazy. -900 is insane, but Amanda Ribas all the way, man, all the way. She's going to be a star. She's going to be a star. Mark
You
Mark
might
my
argue this is for the Instagram title.
words.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you've seen both of them. Everyone's been posting about it. Both of them have very good Instagrams. Paige Van Zant's being the more well known. But just to finish off that conversation about Paige Van Zant, I don't think that I think she's expecting Bellator is going to pay her more. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the UFC will just be able to offer her more money, especially during this is a horrible time to be a free agent. Um, so I think she's expecting to get more from Bellator. She'll just go to Bellator regardless. She'll take a pay cut and just start working on her Instagram more. She might retire. I don't know if she'll retire, but she might just go straight over to Instagram. She made a shit ton of money on Instagram, like and and she stopped doing that to really focus on her fighting.
that's
Which
what I was gonna say. That's why I was throwing my hand up.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if she realizes that her worth isn't what she thought it was when she goes into free agency, she might just think to herself, "Man, why get my face beaten in when my face is making me a lot of money elsewhere?"
Yeah, that's why I wanted to throw in with that whole minus 900 line as well. As like Paige Van Zandt super focused in this fight. This is her last fight on
Yeah.
for the UFC. Obviously, a win helps her negotiate, whether it's still with the UFC or with Bellator, to negotiate more money. And so that she's still dangerous at the end of the day. Minus 900 is crazy, but I don't know. You want to get into that now? I can just quickly say,
Yeah, go ahead.
I disagree with you when it comes to her retiring. I 100% don't think she
Yeah, I don't know if
retired.
she's retire. My point is that I just think that she's not gonna. She's overvaluing what she's actually worth, especially during the COVID times.
Oh, agreed. Agreed. Yeah, and that's let's just do it real quick. I know we're still getting in the middle of the card, but I don't want to get into a deep conversation. But I'll just
Yeah.
quickly say, when she says I'm underpaid, I like it. I like that she's saying that she's speaking out. I'm glad that fighters are speaking out in general about being underpaid. But at the end of the day, when it comes to her, the thing that rubs me the wrong way is she feels like she's entitled. And then when you go back and look at her record, when you go back and see the people that she's fought and lost to, when you go back and look at her the amount of time she's fighting now, that too, she's not fighting a lot. It's like, listen, you're getting paid what you're supposed to be paid. At 46, or not what you're supposed to be paid. Don't expect any crazy money. Like, you haven't done anything. You're not winning titles. You're not competing for titles.
Yeah.
You're doing all these other things outside the cage, like Dancing with the Stars. Your focus really hasn't been in the cage. So why is the UFC going to go out of their way and pay you crazy money when you're not producing? And to be honest, she's lucky. She's honestly lucky to be in the position, because she could be like fucking Sage Northcutt. And I feel like they were the same. The same type of fighter. Mirror images of each other, and UFC said buy the Sage, and you saw that where that got him. They got him a broken face, and I know I'm being mean there, but I'm just saying, like, Paige really, she's a middle of the road fighter in the UFC, and she's being paid what she's being paid, and I don't think she deserves anything crazy. But I do think when she leaves, she will get some more money with Bellator. She still is a name. Still has a face. And I think she'll succeed more in Bellator because Bellator can promote her more. She can promote her brand more, and she's got her husband in Bellator as well. And they'll be able to promote that. I'm sure Bellator would jump all over that. And so, anyways, good for her. I'm not gonna knock her hustle. She's annoying. She's annoying to me. I don't like. She feels like she's entitled, but at the end of the day, that's what she wants to do. More power to her. She's making money, man. She's making good money outside the cage, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say, because we'll talk more about this on the reaction show. The last thing I'll say, just to cap it off, and we'll have the larger discussion of this, because this will open up that can of worms, is in terms of like UFC pay. That's another thing. I mean, she can make more money on Instagram than she can in the UFC. And obviously some people can do that, like Luke Rockhold we're seeing is able to make more money modeling, or at least supplement that income that he lost from the UFC.
Yeah, supplement.
So yeah, I just those types of things. Like I've been saying, I don't think the UFC is obligated, but I do think if the UFC wants to get the best athletes in the world, you have to make it worth their time. So if these people are going to make more money elsewhere, then they're going to go make more money elsewhere. whether that's to go to football or in some of their cases that's to go model instead of which in some way it's weird that you have fighters that are models because any like modeling coach would say don't fucking fight, you're gonna ruin your face.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
Either way, that's my only thing. They not
Yeah.
obligated. I just think it would be smarter for the UFC too.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on
Yeah.
because I'm getting
I, you know what's funny is
anxious over here.
I said not much to say about this fight, and then this is the longest fight talk we
Oh,
had about the fight. Okay, next fight: Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade. I have, or you can say the odds on that one.
odds Rose minus 205 and Andrade plus 165. And again, the odds are coming from Bovada.lv. And obviously, they're subject to change. This is Wednesday night. And so, the odds are definitely going to change before Saturday's fight. But these are the odds we got right now. And go ahead. What's your pick?
I'm kind of with everyone else. I got Namajunas. I think she is clearly a better striker. Like literally, like completely outclassed Andrade in that first round. She made a mistake with holding onto that arm when she was getting slammed. But this is what I will say. Caveat: Andrade is still very, very dangerous. Very dangerous in this fight. And also, it's important to note that I believe it's 70% of rematches since 2012 have been the person who won the original match wins the rematch. So that's something to really note in this fight as we look at Andrade versus Namajunas. But I think this is one of those times where Namajunas is a better all-around fighter than Andrade, and I think she gets that rematch back. And it could be a possible trilogy on the road. So who do you
Interesting, man. I mean, that stat, that's crazy. I didn't know about that stat. Yeah, at some point after this pod, definitely pull that stat and we'll post that up or, whatever reference in future podcasts. Cause that's a crazy stat, 70%. And man, this is the type of fight that I could see Andrade winning. So I got Rose winning. And the main reason why, and I'll get into the Andrade aspect of it, but first off, let me talk about Rose. We saw the first fight. Rose was quick on her feet, was able to avoid Andrade's power shots and avoid Andrade pushing forward. She was able to slip her punches, and she was picking her apart. She was piecing up Andrade in that first round.
Mm-hmm.
Second round, no different. Same exact thing, piecing her up. She went for that arm lock, Kimura, whatever she was trying to go for.
Well,
and and instead of letting go of it, which she should have, she held on and got slammed on the side of her head. And it's legit. It's a legit win. Andrade beat her. It's a great slam. Slams happen in UFC, and there's nothing wrong. I don't think it's fluke. People that are saying that was a fluke win, I think they're fucking crazy. I mean, it was a legit move. I mean, she meant to slam her on her head. Rose made a mistake, but it's not a fluke. And so, anyways, Rose, I felt like Rose was going to end up winning that fight if it ended up going to 3 rounds or 5 rounds. I forget what it was, if it was the main event or whatever it was. And so I got Rose again. I think the same thing is going to happen. But however, I will just say this caveat is who knows what's up with Rose with her head. I mean, it seems like, she's got mental issues or mental health issues, however you want to say it. And I love Rose, but, she's had a couple family members pass away because of COVID. She's flying all the way over to Abu Dhabi. She questioned if she even wanted to fight anymore. And then she found the passion again, found a newfound faith, got back into religion. And so she seems like she's focused, seems like she wants to be here. Obviously, she's saying all the right things, but you never know with someone like her where she's exhibited a lot of mental health situations. And so I would not be surprised if Jessica Andrade ends up beating Rose. Andrade is super dangerous, aggressive. She's going to stay in Rose's face. And if she lands that punch, she's got heavy hands. If she lands that punch, I wouldn't be shocked if she wins this fight. So I know we'll get to our bets later. That's why, we were talking about parlays and shit earlier. That's why I refuse to put Rose in the parlay, even though I feel like she should definitely win this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust her, the mental aspect of it,
Trust you,
of
man.
her, and Andrade's power and aggressiveness. So
But you still have Namajunas, correct?
I have Namajunas, yes. Namajunas.
Okay. This is this is a fight. Piotr Jan -2. I'll just say the odds because I know we're going to get into it. -225 for Piotr Jan, and Jose Aldo with a comeback of +175. I got Jose Aldo, and this is why I think Jan is
Crazy,
overhyped.
bro.
I think
Okay.
Jan is overhyped. Um, Marlon Moraes to me is a more dangerous fighter than Piotr Jan was. Obviously, technically, Aldo lost that fight. He won that fight. Everyone knows he won that fight. And he maybe I'll die on my hill on this one.
You are
I
going
don't
to
think.
die still.
Listen, I don't think Aldo deserves this fight, but I also think that Aldo wins this fight.
Hmm.
So Aljamain Sterling for sure should be in this fight. But thank God for Piotr Jan in his neck. Aljamain Sterling is not in this fight, so he'll just get beaten by Aldo, maybe by decision, maybe by finish. I think it'll just go to decision in this one, and this is my pick for fight of the night.
This is your pick for fight of the night?
Yeah,
Wow.
believe because it's going to stand up. They both have phenomenal takedown defense, and none of them is going to take the other down. I do think, and I think you'll say this in your analysis, but
Then don't say it.
but I do think that no, I think we're going to disagree a little bit. I think you're going to bring this up in your analysis. I
Uh-huh.
do think Aldo comes back and does do the leg kicks with this. Also, Aldo's very comfortable at 135. He's been saying he feels it's easier to make 135 than it was to make 145, which makes no sense. But I think it's just based on how he conditioned his body for that 135 move. So,
Hmm.
man, I think he does it. I truly think Aldo is just going to shock the world and beat Piotr Jan. And I think Piotr Jan's a little bit overhyped. I don't think he truly has the resume. Aljamain Sterling should be in there over him. I truly believe that. He 100% should be
Hang on,
in there.
hang on, real quick. Just let me ask you this question: Aljamain Sterling today deserves to be in there,
Before that, Corey Sandhagen.
even before the
Oh,
Sandhagen.
hell yeah. Yeah, definitely. Still a much better resume. Obviously, that Marlon Moraes knockout, that's, I think, what held him back was that knockout he had to Marlon Moraes. It was a highlight reel knockout. But, man, he's so much has changed since then, and that was just a kick. I mean,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So that's my pick. Aldo wins, and I think the leg kicks are going to piece him up. If he throws leg kicks, like I think you'll bring up, and while we were watching the last card, you brought this up to me. Why is he not throwing the leg kicks? He usually does because that's what he was known for. But against Moraes, he wasn't throwing the leg kick, and we thought maybe his legs are damaged from so long of kicking legs, or who knows? Maybe he just had an injury going into that fight. That's what I'm thinking. I think maybe it was just a little injury going in that fight. All the leg kicks, man. Like I don't know. I think he'll do the leg kicks. I think he'll beat Jan.
All right. Well, here let me jump in here. Obviously, I got to go with Piotr Jan, and the reason why is he's a better fighter than Aldo in all aspects of the game. I feel, and first, let me just get to Aljamain, just so this is known, so we don't have to get into the bullshit of like who deserves anything. Aljamain Sterling, head kick loss to Marlon Moraes. We already established that. Then he beats Brett John. He beats Cody Stamen. Beats Jimmy Rivera. Beats Pedro Munoz. I'm stopping there
Yeah,
because at that point he should have got the title fight. Now
yeah,
let's go. Now let's go over to Jan. So that's not impressive to me. And then you got Jan, who beats. I'll give the last four. Douglas Andrade, whatever. Then you got John Dotson, Jimmy Rivera, Uriah Faber. I mean, I could flip a coin on who had the better. I would lean now. Hey, listen. I would lean Aljamain for sure. Aljamain did have the better because Uriah Faber's coming back, old man. Jimmy
yeah.
Rivera, and then John Dotson obviously isn't the same John Dotson.
Hell no. And
But,
John Dodson,
but,
well, we can talk about him later, but he should be
but
fighting.
and no, he looked pretty good against Jan too. even though he lost unanimously to. But I'm just saying it's not clear cut. Is what
Let me say
just
this too. Jimmy Rivera, guess who he had just lost to right before he fights Piotr Jan?
say it again.
I say guess who Jimmy Rivera had just lost to right before he fights Jan.
Yeah, Aljamain Sterling.
So
All I'm saying, listen, all I'm saying is it's not egregious for
no, it's not egregious.
Jan to be in there,
Nothing egregious is Aldo being in there. But go ahead.
And there's a lot of people like you. I've seen this, man, the MMA community who have said this. It's like they're questioning should Jan be in there versus Sterling. A lot of this talk is after Sterling finishes Corey Sandhagen the way he finishes. Of course, then Corey Sandhagen, that win over Corey Sandhagen, if you could, for whatever, if you could fast forward, this fight is going to be in a couple months. Obviously, Sandhagen happened in June, a month earlier or whatever. So what I'm saying is, Aljamain not enough time for him to train for a title. We get that. So if this fight would have been later, yeah, Aljamain probably would have taken it, where Aljamain would have fight Piotr Jan to get that number one contender. But what I'm just saying is to say clearly that Aljamain Sterling before the Corey Sandhagen should have easily been the number one contender, should have been fighting for the title. I think it's just crazy. I'm saying easily, like the way people are talking about it is as if like, how the fuck are you putting Piotr Jan in there? But I'm gonna tell you what it really is. Hang on.
Let me just say this. What's egregious is Aldo being in there to begin with. Obviously, it should have been
Aldo, of course. Yeah,
I'm just saying, if you're making a case, like, personally, I think if Aldo has to be there because, we already told him he'd get a title shot, then then Sterling deserved that over Jan. I feel like Jan was put on this pedestal because he is the next big guy in the division. And we already saw Sterling lose to Moraes, and I think that's where the UFC is a little bit hesitant. They think Jan is going to carry this division for a while, and I think all those.
All right, let me jump in here too, and this is a common theme in the UFC in general. And I agree with you. The more that you're talking about, and the more I'm looking over here at this resume, I agree with you in the sense of what you just said, that Piotr Jan that they're putting him on this pedestal and giving him this hype, and the UFC's backing him. And this is just what happens in general with the UFC, with the new UFC. Jan's been spectacular. Right favorite head kick. Jimmy Rivera, unanimous decision, and John Dodson unanimous. But in that fight, potentially he was going to finish these guys. He was he almost finished Jimmy Rivera, almost finished John Dodson. He has a corner stop against John. What I guess what I'm just getting at is he's a spectacular fighter. He's explosive. He's exciting. So the UFC wants to, they're going to push those type of fighters.
Oh yeah.
More, and I'm not saying Aljamain Sterling isn't exciting. Fuck yeah, he's exciting. But Piotr Jan, from me being one of them, being a big advocate of him, give him the vacant title shot. So whatever. I'm biased. I like the dude. I believe in him. I believe in him, and he deserves it. And naturally, hey, if he beats Aldo, he's gonna have Sterling next up on deck. I mean, Sterling's not gonna get fucked, is what I'm saying. Sterling's is next in the queue. So, anyways, let me break down the fight, because we've obviously gotten into the weeds here, as we often do. I got Piotr Jan. Why do I have Piotr Jan? Jan, I know. I'm trying to pronounce his name correctly. Don't give me that fucking look.
Are you chewing from there?
I'll say Jan to make it easier, so I'm not fucking stumbling over my words. Let me get a sip of water. So the reason why I have Jan, and it's funny because we're gonna keep referencing Max Holloway and the Aldo fight numerous times during this podcast, and the first time is going to be right now. I feel like it's going to be the same situation that Aldo found himself in against Max Holloway. I feel like it's going to be primarily a stand-up fight. I feel like Jan is the better boxer, the better striker for sure at this point in their career, given the fact that Aldo does not like to use the leg kicks anymore. Mm-hmm. Jan is an amazing boxer, slips punches, aggressive, very good wrestler, very strong. I don't see how Aldo can win this fight. Although what I saw in that Marlon Moraes fight is, he did look good at the beginning, but he faded in that third round. Even though I felt like he did beat Marlon Moraes, I did think But when you rewatch it, you're like, I can see why the judges gave it to Marlon Moraes. Aldo kind of took off that third round a bit and almost was like a counter striker to a degree. Not as aggressive, and Marlon Moraes was leading that dance. Petr Yan's not gonna, for whatever you want to say about Marlon Moraes losing that fight, Petr Yan's not gonna let Aldo dictate the fight and dictate the pace. Jan's gonna be in his face. He's gonna be pushing forward, throwing multiple strikes, powerful strikes. I don't think Aldo can handle it, man. I love Aldo. I think Aldo is the featherweight GOAT. I think he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. Maybe 10, just outside the top 10, whatever you want to say. That's a discussion for another time. But and a win here would fucking cement him as one of the greatest, for sure. Two division champ, 100%. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Jan is going to pressure him. I think Jan is going to piece him up on the feet, just like we saw Max Holloway do against Aldo. And we're going to get to it with Max against Volkanovski. I just think people are nostalgia for Aldo.
That's great.
They expect the old Aldo that we all fell in love with, and it's not the same Aldo anymore, man. Even in that Marlon Moraes fight, it was not the same Aldo. And I think Jan just fucking pieces. I honestly think Jan shows out, man. I think Jan shows the fuck out. I think he destroys Aldo on the feet, and I think he gets the finish in the end.
In the end,
I don't know what to say, and he's a good wrestler, man. Like, if he wants to attempt it, I don't think he's going to take Aldo down because Aldo never gets taken down. He's incredible takedown defense. He's like arguably besides John Jones, it's like arguably the best takedown defense in the UFC history. So I don't see him getting taken down, but it's like that's just another factor, another skill, another tool in Jan's tool bag. What does Aldo have that Jan can't handle? I just don't know.
Yeah, so to me, I just think it's like Jimmy Rivera is the perfect. I like looking at that fight. Jimmy Rivera, to me, showed that first of all, Jan doesn't have a ton. Jan has power, but again, I like to juxtapose him to Moraes. Moraes has way more power than he does, and Aldo was able to not only handle his power but also win the fight and outpoint him. I do agree with you, and this is why I say this confidently. Got to put that on because we disagree. I do think this is a very close fight, and there's a reason that Jan is a favorite. But personally, I just think that Jan is a great boxer, but he's a little bit more he's overrated as to who he truly is. I don't think he's this spectacular fighter that everyone thinks he is. And he could totally prove me wrong on Saturday. And that's what I love about the fight game. But I just think that Aldo has seen it all before. He's seen these guys before. He's going to be able to handle it. And he can work a game plan around Jan's punches. Because, yeah, Jan will outbox him. But if they stay in kicking range, which I think Aldo's going to do, I do think I know he doesn't throw those leg kicks anymore, maybe the past few fights or whatever. You'll see them come back.
And Jan throws kicks too, man. That's for sure. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. And you know what's funny about this? Because I know we're gonna get to the bets, and I did not put this fight in my parlay. I should, and I will reference that later.
No, you're gonna ruin your parlay by putting this.
No, I know, and I'm not gonna do it because you don't want to get into three fight parlays and shit like that. I don't even like parlays in general, but so in saying that, obviously, if I'm this confident, I should throw him in a parlay, right? But but I do see what you're saying. I do want to go to the other side a little bit and kind of agree with you. Yeah, Jan's resume isn't spectacular. He did have issues with Jimmy Rivera. We saw that live in Chicago. It was a close fight. He could have even lost that fight, to be honest with you. And I'm looking at it right now, even though it was unanimous decision.
Yeah, it wasn't that close. I think Jan had clearly won. It just wasn't like Jan didn't show out.
He didn't blow him out. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying, but it was I'm not saying it was close and says split decision. Jimmy Rivera might have won it. What I'm saying is Jimmy Rivera was in that fight and
had opportunities.
Yeah, and he looked good at some point. Yeah, he won a round at the very least, for sure. So it was 29-28 unanimous decision for Jan. But I'm just saying in that fight, that's where you're like, okay, I see some chinks in the armor when it comes to Jan, because before that, Jan exactly was what you're saying right now. You know, was overhyped or whatever you want to say. He was, super hyped up. You know, oh, he's the next best thing, and then he goes in there against a tough vet and Jimmy Rivera, and you're seeing those chinks in the armor. But at the end of the day, he ended up getting that unanimous decision. But if anything, that is the reason why, the resume is why I see why you're picking Aldo in that sense, because of Jan's resume versus Aldo's resume. Aldo facing Marlon Moraes, much dangerous. Marlon Moraes, super dangerous. I think there's something up here with Marlon Moraes that's holding him back, because talent-wise, the guy is spectacular, but there's some up with his head. He takes rounds off and things of that nature. I think he gets down on himself sometimes. And then the cardio as well, I think, is a factor in that. But yeah, I could see why, Aldo potentially could win, or why you feel like there is a door or a path for Aldo to win. But outside of betting it, I mean, it's pretty much a guarantee in my mind, that Jan is going to win this. I just don't see any way of Aldo. I don't see a path to victory for Aldo in this fight. I really don't. Even when they get in the grappling exchanges, man, I feel like Jan's going to be able to handle him. But it doesn't matter. Let's not get in the weeds.
I'm not worried about
this podcast to go on for fucking 2 hours.
Okay, yeah. Last thing.
Go ahead. Next point.
Yeah, last thing is personally, for the UFC standpoint and for my own personal standpoint, my selfishness, I would love to see Jan win, because I'd much rather see Jan versus Aljo than Aldo versus Aljamain. But yeah, I just feel like Aldo versus Aljamain is going to be the fight. But
okay, well, we'll see. Next up.
So next we have Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway. Give me the odds on that, Gene.
Odds on that is you have Max Holloway, or pardon me, you have Volkanovski minus 235, and the comeback on Max Holloway is at plus 185.
Okay, I have Volkanovski in this one. I think it's not going to be any different. I think the only thing that might be different is we might see a finish from Volkanovski. Like I mentioned earlier, I believe it's 70% for rematches. It's even higher in title fights for rematches. Somewhere up in the 80% range for if the one in a title fight, when fighters are rematching, the person who won the first fight wins the second one. It's somewhere over 80%, I believe. So, yeah, and this is a perfect example of, I think, and I know I'll leave it to you to bring up, but I just think this is a perfect example of when Holloway God, I sound like an idiot. Getting tired here.
Because you're stealing my fucking thunder, son. That's the reason.
I'm not even gonna say it. You can bring it up.
Okay.
That's why I kind of started hesitating, because how do I say it without saying it? Ultimately, this is a perfect example of when the winner of the first fight will also win the second fight. I just think that Volkanovski is a horrible matchup for Max Holloway. I love Max Holloway, dude. I'd love to see him win this fight. I'd love to see him have that title again. I think he's still being treated like a champion, if you ask me. But if he wins this, or if Aldo wins this fight, what am I saying? If Volkanovski wins this fight, I would love to see him against Henry Cejudo. We'll talk about that later. And then we'll also talk about Holloway possibly moving up to 145 if he loses, or 155 if he loses. But yeah, in this fight.
So I got Volkanovski, man. Super confident in this pick.
Me too.
I think you already referenced it, and I'll get into it. This reminds me of Max Holloway versus Aldo. Those two fights. So Volkanovski comes out. Everyone's got Max. Everyone had Aldo in that first matchup with Max. Max comes out, shows out, pieces Aldo up, gets the victory, and you're like, "Fuck, man, is Max really that good? Is he legit the new featherweight champion? Is he going to hold it for a while?" And it's the same thing with Volkanovski. Pardon me, and let me finish that point. So then you get the rematch, the immediate rematch. Like, you got to give Aldo that rematch. Aldo comes in again, and you're like, "Fuck, Max is good, but I think Aldo's going to take this back. The first time was a fluke. Nope. It's even a worse beatdown for Aldo in the second fight. And Max truly cements himself as the featherweight king. And I think this is the same exact situation with Max and Volkanovski. Volkanovski in that first fight clearly won, although Max came on in the last 2 rounds, but Volkanovski clearly won. And what it was in that first fight, Volkanovski had Max in cement. Max did not know what he was doing. He had Max second guessing himself. The first 3 rounds, Max was trying. Those, any sports, anyone can relate to this if you play sports. When you start overthinking instead of playing the game and actually just playing the sport that you love and the sport that you've grown up with and played your entire life, that's when you start making mistakes. That's when you lose. That's when someone behind you ends up taking your position because you're overthinking it. And that felt like that's what Volkanovski had Max doing in the first fight. The first 3 rounds, Max was just sitting there like, what the fuck is this? Like, this isn't what we planned for. This isn't what I trained for. And then how do I adjust? And then obviously being down 3-0, which he was clearly down 3-0, I think that kind of opened the floodgates in Max's head of just like, fuck, I have to go after. I'm just going to fight, push forward. And he ended up winning those last 2 rounds. Alexander Volkanovski coming out of City Kickboxing. These guys they have amazing coaches. I think they're very cerebral. That's the main thing. They almost remind me of Greg Jackson, the early Greg Jackson camp, where they were just on another level, cerebral, than everyone else. Everyone else might, other fighters in other camps might have been more talented, stronger, physical specimens. But when it came to the mental aspect and also the film study and breaking down fighters' techniques and tendencies, Jackson Wink was at a different level. Now they're back down, and they're not one of the best camps now, or one of the best camps now. But that's how I feel about City Kickboxing. And until that happens, until people catch up to him, I'm going to go with them. And I know Poirier just beat Dan Hooker. So that's just one fight or, one aspect that goes against my argument here. But in general, they've shown time and time again that they're just on a different level when it comes to breaking down film and breaking down fighters. And I think we're going to see the same thing again here with Volkanovski. I think Volkanovski is a super cerebral fighter. And I think they got Max. I think he has Max figured out. I think his coaches have Max figured out. And I expect him to get a dominant win again, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be like Max versus Aldo 2, the same exact thing, where everyone's like, "How? No way he can do this again. Is this guy for real?" And I think you're gonna see in this fight, like, damn, this guy is legitimately for real. And no shade towards Max. I think Max is a great fighter, super talented, but Volkanovski is just on another level. So I'm picking Alexander Volkanovski to win this fight.
Yeah, no, and I like that you brought up the in other sports. There's sometimes when you face that guy who just has your number, and it's like it's almost the most frustrating thing. It makes you second guess your game, and you lose because of that. And it happens to me in baseball. It happens to me when I played football. And you see, like, DC versus John Jones is a perfect example where it was just frustrating for DC. Like, Jones just had his number. He's like, why can't I beat this guy? I trained so hard for him. I just think there's certain people like that. And like Holloway with Aldo, I love that comparison. It's the same thing Volkanovski with Holloway. I just think there's nothing that Holloway can do that Volkanovski doesn't have an answer to. So
And let me jump in here real quick, and who knows if this is true or not, but obviously we've all heard what Max had said,
Zoom call. I was hoping we would bring it up.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, first time I'm seeing my coaches, I'm training on Zoom, all that bullshit. I think I do legit think he's bullshitting 100%. I don't believe him 100%. I don't believe him fully, but if there's even
fully, I think there's part of the camp for sure that was probably like that, but the notion that he hasn't trained with any training partner the entire camp, I disagree.
Either, but I would do want to say this one. The one other thing I want to throw in here is that the talk. If you heard him this week leading up to the fight, he's saying, "I've already been champ. I've already, I'm paraphrasing. I've already beaten Aldo. I've been champ, multi-time champ, and I've defended my belt. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I've defended my belt multiple times. I'm cemented. My legacy is cemented. So this is just another fight. That's what worries me. That's another little whatever additive to why I'm picking Volkanovski, because I just feel like Max is content. I feel like he feels like I've done what I've done, and whatever. Maybe he even sees like, hey, I'm gonna move up to 155 potentially. I have another career at a different weight class. Whatever it is, I don't know what he's thinking, but I don't really want to. If I'm backing that fighter, if I was going to back Max Holloway, I wouldn't want to hear my fighter saying that type of shit. Where like, I'm content. I've defended my title multiple times. My legacy's set. This is just another fight. Like, nah, dude, this isn't just another fight. Because if you lose this fight, you've lost. You're 0-2 against a champ. You already saw what happened. You already saw what happened with Jose Aldo when he lost 2 times to you, Max. Like, you're pretty much in purgatory. And I'm not saying that Volkanovski after this is going to reign, because, dude, there is killers.
Absolute killers.
45. So he might not – I do think he will get through him, but he might not get through him. And so maybe Max could hang around at featherweight and then end up getting another title shot. But, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to be 0-2 against the champ. So whatever.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up as well with Holloway. I was just talking with someone about this earlier. With I forget what fighter.
Don't lie. Who were you talking to?
I was talking to Dad. But I was not about this fight, but about, I forget what fighter said it, but it's a thing in fighting where if you give yourself the option, it becomes a viable option. I think it was Daniel Cormier who said this, and it's very true. Where he was talking about weight cutting, and I think Holloway's giving himself that option of losing.
Yes.
So, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because I didn't even know that he had talked like that, but I think he is. He's putting it out there like, hey, in case I do lose, I'm good already. I have the reign. He's trying to cement his legacy before the fight happens, and yeah.
I love that point, man. Yeah, DC was talking about with Drysdale in Max.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Giving yourself that out, and he's always going to have that now, Rashkapov, by quitting. He's always going to have that out in future fights. So, no, that's a great point. I think we can end it on that, end this segment on that, because that's a great point. And I agree with you. He is doing that. He's giving himself an out. So.
Yeah, that worries me even more. So going on to the Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal fight, I'll let you give the odds on that fight.
Odds on that fight: Usman -260, your welterweight champion. Comeback on Jorge Masvidal, your challenger, +200.
All right, Bruce Buffer.
Game bread, baby.
Yeah, what a freak! Let me just start off with that before we break down the fight. Holy shit, 6 days notice. I love it. I know DC brought this up. Fuck DC. I said this first. I texted you the day it happened.
Yeah, you did. I know what you're about to say. Yeah.
This is perfect for Masvidal. There's no stock loss in this fight. Why did he not fight? In my eyes, why was that Kamaru Usman fight? Why did he want so much money for it? Because there's so much risk in it. Why would he lose his stardom when he can go fight a Nate Diaz? He can go fight a Conor McGregor and make a shit ton of money. If he loses in a normal training camp to Kamaru Usman, if he gets dominated, his star is lost a little bit in that. But now there's no star loss. He's coming in on 6 days. He's living up to his nickname perfectly. If he wins this, it'll be miraculous. I mean, his star will be freaking blown. I mean, he'll be second to Conor McGregor only in his star power after this fight, if he can pull off especially a spectacular victory over Kamaru Usman. And then if he loses, it doesn't matter. People will say, oh, whatever, it was 6 days notice. Yeah, I think this is beautiful for Jorge Masvidal. But I think Kamaru Usman definitely takes the win. Not to kind of blow the wind off the sails on that one, but yeah, I just think Kamaru Usman, not only with the training camp and everything, I do think there's something to be said about Usman having all the pressure, and that's a little bit worrisome for me. But other than that, he's the champ for a reason. He dominates people, legit dominates people, and I think he's gonna maul Masvidal. He's gonna get on top of him and kind of bring the fight to him.
Yeah, so I'm right with you, man. I got Usman super confident in this one as well. Um, I love to piggyback off of you. Love everything about what Masvidal did here. I'm happy he got paid or got close. You know, he said he almost got what he wanted, but he ended up getting obviously more than he was offered
Yeah.
previously to take this fight before Gilbert Burns ended up stepping in, and then subsequently, you know, catching COVID and then dropping out. But I love Jorge Masvidal. I love the transformation. He's an exciting fighter. It's crazy to see what his career has become. You know, since that Darren Till knockout and the three-piece in the soda, it's insane. I mean, it's insane to see this run that he's on Askren KO and Nate Diaz BMF title, and I'm happy for him. He deserves this. He's been in the game. He's got like 40 some odd fights, 46, 47 odd fights. This is the latest in someone's career that they're getting a title shot as well. You know, a little fun fact as well. Yeah, no fighters had as many. Yep, no fighters had as many fights as Masvidal has had, and then ends up getting their first title shot. And so I'm happy for him, man. I love he's living it up. You know, got the pink robe on, pretending he's eating pizza. I don't believe that he actually ate that damn pizza.
You don't think so? That's another thing I want to get into, but go ahead.
No, I don't believe it, man. But
I don't think he's making weight. That's all I'm telling you.
No, I think he's making weight 100%.
I said that before the pizza. I don't think he's making weight. I think he's gonna say with 6 days notice. You guys thought I was gonna.
No, I don't believe, and you know why I don't believe this? Because Poirier. I mean, this isn't the only reason why I don't believe it. I just believe, man, he's a professional. You know, he legit is a professional. I don't think he's going to miss weight. You know, it's a big opportunity for him. I think he's focused. And when it comes to Dustin Poirier had said, he's been training for this fight. You know, he helped me train for Dan Hooker. He was training for this fight, even though he didn't have the fight. Obviously.
Did you say he helped you train for what?
No, he helped Dustin Poirier. I'm speaking as if I'm Dustin Poirier. He said he helped.
Oh, I'm like, what the hell?
No.
Mean Gene's calling out Dustin Poirier.
No. Yeah, Dustin doesn't want that smoke. Yeah. Anyways, he was helping him. Poirier train for Hooker, and so I think he's in semi shape. You know, I don't think he was full blown in a camp, and obviously preparing for Usman. Obviously, Gilbert Burns took that spot, but yeah, he was in shape, man. The guy, and he even said it with Ariel. You know, I was training. You know, maybe I wasn't doing what I was technically supposed to be doing if I was in camp, but I was training. I think it's the same thing as Max. You know, Max saying I didn't train. First time I saw my coaches, was at the airport, minus the Zoom conference calls and all that shit. Like, I don't believe any of that. Then these guys are fucking, I think they're just gaming the media and the fans. At the end of the day, Masvidal's focus, huge opportunity for him. He doesn't lose anything. I agree with you. If he loses, hey, it was 6 day notice, whatever. But yeah, I got Usman right with you. I think Usman is we talked about this before. Usman versus Khabib. It'd be amazing. Who's the better grappler? I know it's crazy. Some people would be like, "What are you talking about, Khabib easily?" Nah, dude, Usman is ridiculous, bro.
And he's so much stronger.
Ridiculous. We saw it against Woodley, and then the Colby. There was no reason. They canceled each other out, so they struck with each other. If Usman does the same thing against Masvidal, go ahead and give Masvidal a title. Because yeah, he's not going to outstrike Masvidal in that sense, but he can hang with Masvidal. Masvidal's striking, that's the thing. It's not like, hey, if you start striking, dude, you're fucked. No, I don't believe that. Usman can stand a little bit with Masvidal, but obviously we know what's going to happen. He's going to get on, he's going to get a hold of Masvidal and try to take him to the ground and just ground and pound him. And I think Usman, I've heard some talk out there in the media and the fans saying, I don't know. I got Masvidal. I feel like Usman's got a big ego. He's gonna want to strike and prove it. No, fuck that, dude. Usman is like, man, Usman's to me, honestly, man. And maybe I'll be wrong in this fight. Maybe Masvidal wins, or in the future Usman loses. I see Usman reigning over the welterweight division for many years. He is legit as fuck. I think mentally he's fucking focused. I think his skills are incredible. His striking, his fucking ground game, his wrestling speaks for itself. I think he's one of the best fighters in the UFC, one of the best MMA fighters in the world in general. And I think he's going to show out in this fight. I don't think, some people have said, he's going to be boring. He's just going to take, Masvidal down and lay on him. I don't see that, man. Because even with the Tyron Woodley, Tyron's just tight. Tyron Woodley is tough. And I think I said Tyron's tight. That was fucking weird. Pause.
Pause. You said pause.
But no, but he's tough, and Usman not finishing Woodley, I don't think that's a negative mark against Usman. He was active trying to finish him, putting damage on Woodley, and I expect the same thing against Masvidal. If Masvidal wins, man, I'd be shocked. And I know we're at the end of picking our fights. I know we need to get to the bets, but I'll just let's get to the bets, and I have something to say about the Masvidal Usman. So do you want to go? Do you want
to just to finish off? We can go over our picks fully again. But I definitely got Kamaru Usman. And another thing, I did want to kind of correct myself or backtrack a little bit. I think I was thinking about this as you were talking about it. Him posting that video of eating pizza, to me, shows, okay, he is going to make weight. And the reason I say that is he wouldn't, if he's in his mind, I'm not making weight, he's not going to post a video of eating pizza. You know what I mean? Like, because then people will be like, this idiot. What'd you say?
I was going to say post a picture. That's the thing. It's just a picture.
Oh, I saw a clip of him eating it, but maybe
there's nothing of him eating it. He's just, he's got his teeth on it, but you don't even know if he's actually biting it. And then his manager said, yeah, he definitely ate that piece of pizza. Whatever. You know how that goes. Right?
Yeah, I mean, there's an old video. He used to say that there's this really actually funny video. It was UFC Countdown where he was saying, I'm one of the only fighters in the world who can eat McDonald's. He went through a McDonald's drive-thru the week of the fight.
Yeah.
So he's not. If that shit, dude. If he makes weight, he makes weight. But my main thing is when's the last time he's missed weight? Obviously, 6 days notice is different. I just think he, like you're saying, it's a picture, whether he ate the pizza or not. Him posting that, to me, says, okay, he's not planning on missing weight.
No.
I'm backtracking my statement from before. Either way.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Let's finish off. Let's just recap our picks and our bets.
So to recap, I have Martin Day over Davy Grant, Cara Rosa over Vanessa Mello. Are you good?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay.
You were breaking up. Go ahead.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I had some static sound, but yeah, I have Raulian Paiva over Zalgis Zumagulov. I have Marcin Tybura over Grisham. I have Roman Bogatov over Leonardo Santos. Danny Henry over Makwan Emirkhani. Muslim Salikov over Elizu Zaleski dos Santos. Volkan Uzumir over Yuri Prochaska. Amanda Ribas over Paige Van Zant. Rose Namajunas over Jessica Andrade. Jose Aldo over Piotr Jan. Alexander Volkanovski over Max Holloway. And Kamaru Usman over Jorge Masvidal. Who do you got, Gene?
Well, what about you want to get the bets or no? Okay, I'll just give my picks. Anyways, you did an incredible job on pronouncing all those damn names. I'm going with the last names because I'm knocking this out. I got Grant over Day. I have Rosa over Mello. Paiva over Zagamulov. I have Tybura over Grishin. I have Santos over Bogatov. I have Americani over Henry. I have Salikov over Dos Santos. Ozdemir over Prochaska. I have Ribas over Van Zant. Namajunas over Andrade. Jan over Aldo. Volkanovski over Holloway. And Usman over Masvidal.
Awesome.
Your
Uh,
bets. Your crazy ass bets.
yeah, no, I'm gonna start with your bets because
Oh,
Mr. Mean Gene over here earned that title back at Betting Machine. Let's have you start, the betting man, with the picks.
all
With the
right. As always, I'm not going to get crazy. I like to just keep it simple. I want to win. It's about money management. Um,
You're right.
I'm on the year. I think I'm down like 2 or 3 units. I could easily try to bet 5, 6 units to win it back. No, not doing that. I'm going to smart bets. And if there's anything that changes, this is Wednesday. I'm sure I'm going to jump into like inside the distance. Those type of bets potentially, and I will post those on Twitter on our account page. But my picks though, real quick. Um, I got Salikov. I like Salikov a lot. I'm going to put 1.5 units on him, and he's at minus 135. So Salikov over Dos Santos. And then the other one, I don't do this, but because the lines they're so big, I can't figure out really honestly any other way to get at it where I'm confident. Super confident. I have a parlay with Volkanovski at minus 225, and I have Kamaru Usman as the second leg of that parlay at minus 260, which puts, I believe, the odds are like plus, I think it's plus 100. It might be minus 101, minus 102. But anyways, I'm putting 2 units on that parlay, and that'll do it for me. I was tempted, I will just say I was tempted to throw Piotr Jan in that parlay. So go with the heavy hitters, the 3 title fights, and go with the 3 favorites. I still might do that. Separately. And again, I'll let you guys know about that. But I definitely like Volkanovski and Usman to parlay. So those are my 2 official plays for UFC 251.
Yeah, I like that. I'm actually going to start with a parlay because I like that parlay. We talked about this before the show, obviously. I like that so much. I'm going to do the same exact thing. Parlay on Volkanovski and Usman at 2 units, being at plus 100, assuming it's at that. Either way, minus 101, it's still a good bet. Super good. That's a perfect way, and usually you're the one that talks about this, but that's the perfect way to shop for those odds because Volkanovski, that's a huge number, minus 235, and Kamaru Usman, that's a huge number, minus 260. Put them together if you're confident in both, and that's good. I mean, plus 100 on both of those, that's great odds. I'm
Right.
glad you shopped
Yeah.
with them. The other one, I'm getting a little bit crazy with this. This is why Mean Gene is the better, and I'm just a college kid. I have Danny Henry, that like my sleeper pick I mentioned earlier. Danny Henry at plus 160. I put 1 unit on him. Volkan Uzemir, I'm putting some money. I really feel confident in him over Yuri. And I'm putting 1.6 units on him because he's minus 160. So we can get a payback of 1 unit on that. And then I have Jose Aldo at 1 unit on him. Again, I think going to put my money where my mouth is on that argument. So,
And let me just quickly interject is the one I could see myself putting up some money on is that Uzdemir. I do like Uzdemir as well. It's not an official play. Don't put me down for that, but that's one I am looking at for sure. That one, and then like I said, maybe a three fighter parlay with throwing Jan in, which is crazy, man. I don't suggest doing parlays. There's a reason why they're hard to hit because obviously you need to win every single one. Sometimes it's better just to do straight plays on each fighter versus the parlay. But like Brian had mentioned, when you have minus 260 on Usman and minus 225 on Volkanovski, it might have actually dropped. It dropped. Was it 235? Yeah, it was 235. It just dropped to 225 as we're recording this. But anyways, easier way to get at that is obviously doing a parlay and you're getting plus 100. So whatever, those are our plays. Let's move on. And
yeah, just to cap off all of them, I'm betting my total units bet is 5.6 units and a total possible payout of 5.35 units. And for you, you have total units bet is 3, and your possible payout is 3.1.
3.5 is my total because I'm putting I got 2 on that parlay and I'm doing 1.5 on.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. 3.5. So now you messed up my total. Man, Three
Jesus.
strikes, Gene. Three. That's 3 times. It is. I'm gonna make you start doing all the backhand stuff on this.
I know.
It's 3 times. Jesus Christ. It's amateur over here for sure.
What are we looking at time on this podcast too?
It's too long. The total possible payout, I don't know. So
Okay.
calculate it yourselves, you fucking lazy bums. Your turn to say something, Gene. I don't know if you have anything else. That's our bets. That's our picks. We can talk about all the other shit on the.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just kind of wrap this up. To be honest with you, I mean, I'll quickly say, like, literally bullet point, and you just give your bullet points as well. I'll just say that Max Holloway would be interesting to see if he loses. Will he move up to 155?
Definitely.
And then Masvidal. This is the one I really wanted to talk about. Maybe I don't know if we get into it now, but the big thing is if Masvidal wins, just go ahead and give me my fucking money because I'll bet everything that I have that it's Masvidal versus Conor McGregor for the 170 strap.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
my goodness, dude, as a fight fan, I would love to see that. As a purist, whatever, semi-purist, it's horrible that, Conor McGregor would end up getting a fucking title shot at 170. But I'll just tell you right now, for the UFC, where they're sitting there looking at September and the death of Khabib's father, and they're like, fuck, we don't know what's going to happen with, our cash cow in Khabib. We don't know what's going to happen at 155. Man, if Masvidal fucking shocks the world, man, and takes that title off for Usman, my goodness, do you understand how fucking big that pay-per-view would be with Conor McGregor versus Masvidal for the fucking BMF strap and for the welterweight strap? I mean, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying it should happen or anything, but I'm just telling you strictly from entertainment standpoint, my goodness, that is going to do crazy fucking numbers that would, I'm not going to say it would come close to rivaling. Yeah, it's fucking late. You know what I'm saying? It would come close to matching. Fucking dumbass can't even pronounce these fucking words. It'd come close to matching the pay-per-view buys for McGregor Khabib. I'm not saying like right there, but it'd be up there, man. I feel like it'd be like a top 5 for the UFC, top 5 pay-per-view.
I'm gonna die on my hill on this too. I think you're being humble. It'll beat that. And the reason I think it'll beat that is because, like I was saying earlier, if Jorge Masvidal wins this fight on 6 days' notice and beats Kamaru Usman, he is the second biggest star in the UFC, possibly of all time, second biggest star in the UFC. So
Not of all time, but yes, right now though, yes.
I'm just thinking like in terms of how his name recognition versus in general, UFC name recognitions are your people are a lot more recognized now. Everyone will know who Jorge Masvidal is. Yeah. He'll be second to Conor McGregor is what I mean by that.
Right now, yeah. Let's not get crazy, man. Let's not forget about GSP.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking like greatest of all time by any means.
I'm saying even pay-per-views, dude. GSP was killing it with pay-per-views.
Yeah, GSP did so many pay-per-views. I think that's where his numbers come so high.
And then let's not forget they're not touching Ronda Rousey as well. Like Ronda Rousey is obviously
Ronda Rousey is gonna be number 2 for sure. Yeah. Okay. Either way,
I get what you're saying.
Right now, when do you ever see, seriously, I mean, when do they even match up in weight usually? When do you ever see the 2 biggest names in the sport, in the UFC, able to fight each other? I mean, that's a freaking blockbuster, an unbelievable blockbuster.
It'd be incredible, man. And it'd be a great fight too. That's the thing about it. It'd be a great fight, but yeah, so that, like I said, max 155. That's bullet point. Then obviously, if Masvidal wins, Conor McGregor, and then Rose Namajunas. I just say whoever wins that fight, Rose and Jessica Andrade. I think they probably get the title fight. More Rose for sure. Yeah, if Andrade wins, it gets a little murky. Obviously, because she already lost to the champ in 1 minute and got KO'd. But yeah, Rose for sure. She wins. That's the nice next title fight. She'll be facing Weili Zhang. And that.
I also want to say if Andrade loses, they'll probably throw her against Jacek. Is going to be that fight.
Yeah, I could see that. They've already fought, but I could see that again. Why not?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that's it on my end.
When does Tatiana Suarez come back?
Who knows with her neck? She's rehabbing her neck. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah. Ribas is truly the dark horse. But yeah, Tatiana Suarez, I guess now since she hasn't been fighting, can almost fall into that category of a dark horse.
Oh
You
yeah.
haven't seen her in so long, but just quickly, let me throw this out there as well. I know this is fucking getting late, and we should have done this at the top of the show because I'm sure there's no one fucking listening now. But long story short, man, we International Fight Week. You already know it's always July, middle
Yeah.
of July. Um, so it's easy to plan for that. Me and BP fucking planned for it. We bought tickets for Vegas. We plan on going to the fight live for International Fight Week. Obviously, COVID happened, and that's not going to happen. But we're still going out there. We're still going out to Vegas. So we'll be out there for International Fight Week, quote unquote, and we'll be watching the fight. So if there's anyone out in Vegas and you guys are watching this, and we'll also post this on our page too. But yeah, we'll be out there. So if you guys want to link up, little meet and greet type of thing, we'd be down for it. We love, whatever, love watching MMA. We love, we welcome anyone to come out and watch MMA with us, especially this card. This is an incredible card.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be out there. We'll be out there for the fights. I'm seriously looking forward to this. Like, it's one of, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this weekend. I'm really looking forward to this card. I think it's gonna be a great card and just a great weekend in general.
Absolutely. BP Mean Joe Gene show is Vegas bound, so maybe we
Yeah,
should have a Vegas T-shirt. I know we show the T-shirt. You got it on. It's not the Vegas T-shirt though. Supposed
got
to
it, baby.
yeah, got it
So
by merch.
we'll be rocking. We'll be rocking those out there. We got some. We got some other things that we'll be handing out, and yeah, we'll be out there. We'll
Coming
be
up.
out in Vegas. So if there's anyone out in Vegas, definitely hit us up.
Yep, it's gonna be a Hangover Part 4.
Oh fuck! I don't know if I can handle that shit.
No, no way.
Got the fucking college student over here versus the quote unquote old man. I don't feel old. I don't look old, but yeah.
The beard, but
Yeah, don't let the gray in the beard fool you. I'm not that old at all.
calling out Dustin Poirier.
What'd you say?
Calling out Dustin Poirier.
No, he like I said, he doesn't want that smoke. I'm ready. I'm ready for Dustin. I've been training. So, but anyway,
What have you been training with?
anyways, on that note, I'll keep that to myself. But on that note, yeah, man, we'll be on Vegas. Hit us up. But other than that, I don't have anything else. You got anything else to?
Nope. The only thing I have is the normal stuff. So thank you guys. Email us at bpmgmma@gmail.com. We'd love some listener questions. Again, we haven't mentioned that in a while. Go
Yeah,
follow
but
us.
yeah, cut you off. We also just got to put that on Twitter. That's the easiest way of doing it. Just
Yeah,
saying, like,
Twitter is the best way to reach out to us as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, go
If you see our business cards laying around, pick it up, look at
ahead.
it. Throwing those around Illinois a little bit. Either way, if for more artwork like this one, you see right behind us, this beautiful artwork. Tyro Brown created this, and you can go follow him on Instagram at Cloud City Cartel. And for our music, that will close this show right after I'm done talking here, and that opened the show before I started talking. That was made by Alex Weishart, and you can go to SoundCloud at Alohi, and you can go find him. And then we thank you to our sponsors, Anchor, for being the platform that this podcast is on. And so if you want to go make a podcast, go there. And French Faction for being that YouTube channel that's sponsoring us. Now that we're on YouTube, now we're on the same platform. We're competing. We're competitors with our sponsors. Either way, go subscribe to them. Give them a like. Funny stuff. And that's it. Thank you guys for listening. If you still are, it's probably been like 4 hours at this point.
Yeah, I'll just quickly say, shout out to the Split Decision podcast who, gave me a shout out on one of my questions on their podcast. Just wanted to throw that out there. It's cool, cool, whatever, to be mentioned on there.
Definitely.
Shout out to those guys at the Split Decision podcast. So, anyways, on that note, I'm done. I know you're done. So we will, quickly, we're going to record another podcast reaction pod after UFC 251 live from Vegas. And, yeah, that's it, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace.